my name is Yasuhiro Chida from Japan. Very nice to meet you. Actually, I'm not a high-tech artist. I'm kind of a craftsmanship artist, but I'm here, so I'd like to talk about how I deal with technology in my work. So let's see some of my works. This work I use sewing threads weaved in the forest using the trees, and I just project one white line is moving up, and it looks a bit complicated, but in fact it's really simple, just using a sewing thread and one projector. And this work I exhibited in the Netherlands in this summer, and this is it can't say the program. It's really simple white line, and I just project this white line to the threads. That's all. It's really simple, but the thread is weaved in a vertical. The lines going up, and you can see the light point in the crossing point of the lights and the threads, and it's moving slowly. And if the thread is more horizontally, it's moving really fast. So the next, in this work, you can see the light point, but you can see some colors on the threads. Can I stop? You can see some colors. I just projecting the white line, but you can see several colors in it. Because I'm using a DLP projector, and it can't project the different colors in the same moment. So that's why you can see several colors. It's a disadvantage if you want to project the movies, because there's some colors you can see around the object. But in my work, it works as an advantage. So I always working like that. The next one, I also using really familiar materials, everyday material. It's water. In this work, I'm using water as a lens. And when the water drop getting bigger and bigger, and the reflection, and I put a really strong LED lamp in it. And when the water getting bigger and bigger, and the reflection angle is continuously changing, so it draws the patterns on the walls and the floor. I just using a gravity and the water surface tension. This is the details of the water droplets. Everybody knows the water, but not so many people knows water works as a lens. So I don't know if it's high-tech or low-tech. Next one. This work, somebody can figure out what materials I'm using in this work. In this work, I'm using fishing lines as a cylindrical lens. If I buy the cylindrical lens, it's really expensive. But now this exhibition is held in Unna, Germany, in the Light Art Museum. You can see this work until 10th November, if you have a chance to come. And the fishing line works as a cylindrical lens, so when you walk, all the light reflection in the air looks like sucking to the light source. And the last one. This is a process of making the work called Broken. So it will be exhibit from tomorrow night in the city. So it's also, I'm using the material from the architectural metal. So it's not made for the artistic purpose. It's just industrial materials. But I found the beautifulness in the materials, and I changed it to some artworks. In this time, I made I punched the holes by myself, and this work is getting popular now. So not so many times I made by myself all the way. This dog is really prefer to hear the sound of the wheels. So, and this is a machine to cut the metal, and but it's really old one, and there's a switch on the bottom, and when you push on it, it's really craftsman way to create the stuffs. It's not so fashionable, and it's. When I was young, I want to be a really creative person, but in fact, I'm doing the same thing so many times, like a factory worker. You can see this work in the city from tomorrow night. And I just want to say, I always thinking about this real world. Why I'm working with the real material with no using digital devices, because this screen has it's very high, but it has a resolution. But in this real world, you don't find any particle, and it has an infinity resolution in the space and infinity time resolution. There's no frame in the real world. So I prefer to work with real world, and I try to use devices in my own way, and I try to do not use by devices. Obrigado. Thank you.